Okay. Dave, I hear there's a little sticky note here that you wanted to have a
Yes,
presentation.
yeah. I'm David Brownell. Myself, Steve Eichler, and also Laurel Dutcher. We're in the stages of planning a road running race in Franklin, kind of similar to what we did in the past with the turkey trot,
Right.
to raise money for the Franklin Athletic Program.
So is this gonna replace the turkey run?
Yeah, we
You
didn't
just do it
do,
earlier in the season?
right, we didn't do the turkey trot last year.
Oh, okay.
So this year, we're planning this for October 9th, which is a Sunday, and for 1 o'clock. It would start, the same start, which is just past where the parking lot is for the school.
Mhm.
And then goes down Center Street, goes left towards Otsego, and takes another left,
Smaller.
and then down that road. And
So the route would be the same as you had before,
yeah,
you just
so,
would like to change the time frame.
right. Except we're gonna add a little distance. We're gonna do a 5-mile one, and then a 5K,
Oh,
and
okay.
then also a 1-mile health stroll in the village for the
Mhm.
folks that don't wanna do the,
Now, how much further does a 5 mile go? You know, like the other one ended not quite down the
yeah,
Town
so
Road?
the 5K, the turnaround would be just past where the pavement ends. Probably, 50 to 100 yards past that.
Yeah.
The 5-mile mark is, once you get down that road, there's a split. And if you go left on the split,
Right.
just probably about 50 to 100 yards, that'll be the turnaround.
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah,
It's
so-
not that bad.
Yeah, not,
You think 5K and 5 miles is
yeah.
quite a difference in,
Yeah, one's 3.1 miles and the other's
Okay.
5 miles, so,
well,
yeah.
we gotta go another mile then, don't you? One
Well,
mile
one
each way.
yeah.
Yeah, so, it's always been, in the past, a pretty good event.
Yep.
We try to
Yep.
put on,
Well,
kind of a community-related
right.
thing. So, we're hoping that it's okay with the town to do
See
do
any
this.
problem with it, Mark? No. Not at all, no. Does anybody have any more questions for Dave, or more, concerns, or whatever? If not, I think
Yeah.
we can just say,
And we're also looking for sponsorships. If if you know of a business or anything that would like to put some advertising on our race T-shirts, we have pretty decent rates, starting at $75. But goes to a good cause,
right,
athletic programs. So I think it's important.
okay. So I think, you have our blessing, I believe.
Okay, great, thank
Do
you.
we have to have a resolution to it, or just, I don't think we've ever done it before, so. Thank you very much, Dave. I believe a letter was not circulated, really, was sent to myself and the town. And I believe it was sent to Franklin Register, Don Hubbard, Brian Brock, and the superintendent from the Franklin School, I believe.
Yeah.
About possibly, what it pertains to is, the subject is possibly letting the school have a sell solar farm panels on top of the old landfill, or on the landfill property. It wouldn't just be on the landfill itself. And that's what it pertains to, I guess, basically. And I'm not sure what the feeling is of the taxpayers, whether, it's something the school should look into, or if we're gonna put solar panels on it. The town, it's taxpayers' money, no matter how it goes, the tax, money goes to save taxes, whether it be school or town. So I'm not, you know, I guess my feeling on it would be, I'm not against the solar panels, but if it was gonna happen, I'd like to see the town take benefit of it, because it is our property. But,
You gotta go across the line.
So shouldn't the letter come from the school board if the school wants us to do this?
well, I'm, you know, it was sent to the superintendent, I believe. And so if they're,
Oh, it's to the superintendent, not from the
Right.
right,
superintendent?
Yes.
it's to the superintendent,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes.
We've spoken with him,
Oh, yeah,
I've spoken
okay.
with him personally, you know, and just to start the process to see whether it's an option.
Yeah.
Talking with Kelly Renwick, I mean, the school spends $40,000 a year for their electric bill. That's their total electric bill for the year. And the school is in operation during daylight hours pretty much.
Right.
There's some that's obviously not in the evening, but the majority of their work does happen during the solar day.
Right.
And so $40,000 would be a big difference to school taxpayers. And, you know, well, do you have any idea what's the town's electric bill for the year?
I'm not sure.
I mean, is it 200, 340? It's probably up
It's
there somewhere,
probably
by far, it's
into
300.
10,
That's
between
years.
10 and 15,000 probably a year.
Yeah, yeah. And so maybe a system big enough ought to be looked at so that, you know, you guys, if you could save $15,000 a year, you could probably use it for something else. So anyway, we just started the process to ask the school to look into it.
Yep. Okay, good. I know, I talked to Jamie last week, Jamie Archibald, but she's on the school board. And he was gonna, he had mentioned to the school board about our possible opting out, but they didn't want any information at this time, I guess, or there wasn't interest in it. So, I guess that's our next thing on the agenda is,
Who would
so,
buy the solar panels?
Yeah, how would you get it from the
that,
dump
I mean,
to
that's
the
something
Yeah,
they,
it's
they've
part
got
of the
to,
process. There's
Yeah,
even
look into it.
programs now where you take and you essentially can lease them and/or you pay as you play.
Well, how do you get the, I mean, there's a lot of private parcels between the town dump and the school. How would you get the power from the source to the?
That's why you would ask.
that's,
We
I
just,
mean,
just starting
You
a
look-
process to see, because that's some of the closest land nearby the town. The school does not have a whole lot of surface area.
They
It's all
have
down
the
on the
roof.
flat, but it's, a lot of it's down on the flat, a lot of it's in floodplain. And,
The roof is?
well, they frown on really doing, on a lot on flat roof. I talked, you know, that's what the first thing that was suggested to me was, well, putting them on the roof is a little bit more difficult with a flat roof and the drainage and everything else going on. They didn't really warm up to that too much. So that's why I said, well, what's the closest thing around that might be available?
Right.
And it's just a starting process. So I guess we brought it up to see,
Yep.
test the water. And if it's something that could benefit the town taxes and the school taxes, then it might be even better yet.
Right.
It will involve somehow getting power from there up through, yes. Whether you can use transmission lines, doubt it. Whether you can put things on lines, doubt it. But you gotta start somewhere.
I think you need an engineer instead.
I hope they pay me to do it.
Well, hopefully,
The electric
other
bill
solar
might be
companies
cheaper.
will give you options, that's what they're out there for.
Well, but
Okay.
when you start looking at systems like that, and you start looking at schools, Downsville has done it, and I'm pretty sure Charlotte Valley has done it. There are grants and stuff available too that kick in. You know, you can apply for grants so that the cost to it is not directly borne by taxpayers as much. We're just starting the process.
Townsville, that's, are they tied into Matson's?
I have no
Or is
idea.
that-
I just remember an article in the paper about the big,
I
you
heard
know, they put quite a few panels on their
Oh, okay.
system to run their school.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sir, you called me about the highway?
I did, yes.
Names I'm terrible on, you'll have to,
Sorry, Father John Parr from the monastery down the road.
Yep.
We've been having a lot of problems with speeding and trucking and things. This road is really dangerous. I have cancer and I have neuropathy and I have diabetes and I have to walk. And our property has no place to walk, so walking on the road. And it's very dangerous, day or night, it's very dangerous, and they don't keep the speed. And I was very concerned, and I called around different places asking what we could do about controlling the speed. From this stop sign here, up the road, the Cordero's place, it's 1 mile, exactly 1 mile.
Now, whereabouts is that?
Cordero, as you go up the hill, across from Koopmans, the next place up, and that's the last place you have a clear sight coming down the hill of anything. Everything is curves and turns, and you cannot go 65 miles an hour with a huge milk truck or whatever and navigate those turns. You just can't. We've had chickens, guinea fowl, cats killed because they can't control the speed. This is what got me going. The other week I'm walking down the road, it's in the afternoon, and this truck is coming, billowing down the hill, easily 60 miles an hour, and he's following the middle of the road, and he honks at me to get off the road because he can't stop. And I can't run, and I can't climb over a fence, so I had to lean against those barriers, and he just went down the road. Didn't care if he got anybody. There's so many turns you can't see, and at those speeds. Diane de Dominicus, a couple of years ago, she came down and she ended up in our ditch because she tried to make the turn going up the hill going too fast. She went into the ditch. We had a woman die at the tree 5 years ago. She smashed into the tree coming down. The speeds are just too high. So I called everywhere. I called Albany, and Albany told me I have to go to the county. I went to the county, and the county says, we can't control any of that. It's the state that does that. So eventually I got through to the state, to the regional office in Binghamton. And a woman, Pamela is the one who I talked to as a supervisor. And she said, through her representative this morning, Tom Miller, who's one of the planning people, he said, all you need to do is take this issue to your town board, your town, and any town can request a change in speed limit. That's where it starts. And so you ask for the speed limit change or control, whatever you ask for, and then you send it to the county, and the county will not deny your request. And they said, and when it comes to us, we will not deny it either. So it is really kind of a done deal once it starts at the base level. But he said, a lot of people are writing their own signs saying, slow down, we have children, we have animals, slow down. If you lived here, think about your children, those kinds of, because it's so difficult. And that people don't need to go those speeds. It's just very dangerous. And we've had a month and a half ago, we had a young man coming down in the evening. It was maybe 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening. We were walking on the road, and he came down from Koopmans, and he lost control. He was going so fast he couldn't turn, and he hit first the divider by our place, popped his tire, went across, hit the other side, and then went down, and then his car hit into the railing halfway down, and he couldn't control it. And he was all upset because he said, his father's going to kill him. The car is wrecked. But it is very dangerous. And all we need to do, I think, I would like to ask if we can consider it. They said you don't need signatures and petitions, but it doesn't hurt to get them. But I think that mile down, if the speed could be brought 30 down that hill, because those turns are treacherous and they don't slow for snow or anything else. And you hear them in the middle of the night pumping those brakes, and they're just swerving all over the place, and it's very dangerous. And we have children who come to services. We have people with families, and kids. You can't stop a kid from running on a road, and no one's going to stop at 65 miles an hour. It's impossible. And so, if we could consider reducing the speed from that, and I also know on 14, it's very dangerous, and it's coming in this direction. They come so fast, and so if we get a control, maybe a mile in every direction to slow them down, we'd have a chance.
I walk these roads every day, 3 to 4 miles a day, and I totally agree with that. It's really dangerous. Nobody pays attention to the speed limit.
Well, I think, maybe it's got to be patrolled more,
That too.
as much as any,
Right.
that wouldn't fix it. Or maybe there's got to be a better signage should be put up too,
Right.
of curves ahead or something, because some of these trucks, as you said, if they aren't routinely driving this road, they don't realize
Right.
the curves in the road. And maybe signage, I mean, I hate to put speed limits out any further than they have to be, because unless somebody enforces them, nobody's gonna look at it. But right now, it's 30 miles an hour almost out to Jackson Hill.
Right.
And how many people, from the time they hit treble carburetor, are 30 miles an hour
Very few.
to Jackson Hill?
Oh,
I mean,
right.
and, you know, but that's a nice straight stretch, which is a good thing. You know, but I think the enforcing part, and I think signage, there's gotta be more signage too, and I understand where you're coming from it. And I guess what I would, maybe, you know, maybe this is for the community, the A.L. Kellogg Fund, you know, should there be a, you know, I know it's taking the independence part away from it, but something down at the athletic field for walking, you know, a walking track or something, to be safer. I mean, traffic is gonna be a nightmare no matter where you go, I'm afraid. And they seem, if the roads are good, the faster they go. If you have shitty roads, pardon my French, you know, you got slower traffic normally, not all the time. Sometimes it doesn't matter, they go 50 on a rough road as much as on a smooth road. But, you know, and it's a narrow road. The county road is very narrow, a lot narrower than the state, they seem to be. And I don't know where they can widen the road either. It's
They
that
can
snake
on
down
six-
through there that
There's no
is-
place on 16 that can do that, but if they could extend the speed limit out to around the monastery or Coopman's, because those curves are really dangerous.
Right.
You
But
cannot,
there's been people who've died
when you're
doing
at the
it.
top of that crest, just beyond Koopman's,
Right,
you cannot see anything as you come down
No, you
unless you
can't.
know the road.
Right.
You can't
Well,
see their
that's what I mean.
turns, you can't see
There
people.
should be some signage for curbs and
Right.
stuff. which-
It's there already,
They
saying
are?
suggested,
Okay.
you know, suggested speed, but if it's not the speed
Nobody-
limit, they don't pay attention to it.
Well, suggested speed and speed limit are the same thing, I think. if
No,
you
no,
say-
the law though.
No, okay.
No.
they're not.
But I know, you know, it's the enforcement part of it.
Yeah.
As you said, 24 hours a day, trucks are running this road. And cars are just as bad as the trucks, but the trucks
They're worse.
are, you know, there's more cars than trucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, to go out a mile, I don't know how far this is out to Jackson Hill, where they extended. They
3/4 of a
ended
mile.
Pardon?
3/4 of a mile,
From the intersection out?
Yeah.
Okay.
maybe
That might
a
be
little bit
something
less,
to-
a little bit less than that, actually.
If you change the speed limit, at least then you have the right to enforce it if the
Right.
county sets out there sometimes. Now, I know the same thing, you can be setting down to Swazo's in Franklin, it's still in a 35, and people are picking up speed to head out, and people are still slowing down coming in, and they do nail people once in a while.
When we first moved here 8, 9 years ago, there used to be a patrolman that sat by that gravel
Oh,
and he was getting them every single day. And then for months, they would all go slowly, and then they'd pick up again. But he would spend 2 or 3 days there, and he must have gotten retirement fund after that. So could we consider it? Could we maybe get a consensus of people who live on that road? This poor woman, I don't know where her name is right up here, where she sells the garlic. But, you know, her poor kids can't walk out the door because they can't even go to a car that's there because the road is so busy. She grabs them and, you know, and it's dangerous. And we have people on hot feast days and Sunday, you can't even get the car out. The place, they're afraid to even stand up. They had somebody go stand on the road to tell them it's okay to come out because they come so fast. So,
Visibility. Well, what's the board feel?
It's easy to do. We've done it in the past. All you gotta do is write a letter to the county. County takes the letter, passes it to DOT. DOT comes out and says, yes or no. It's that simple. Doesn't cost us nothing, nothing. Plain and simple.
We have a concern and just,
The only 2 places I know that they've ever, in the town of Franklin, changed the speed limit is from this intersection down, that's 30, and then when they extended this one out here. All the rest of them, they've never, they just say no, because of the population, traffic counts and all that come into play. But doesn't hurt, you know, they just come out and do their survey, and like 3 to 5 months later, they'll give you
So we read
a
a letter
to the county,
to the county.
to Wayne.
Wayne.
Yep.
Do we need a motion to do it?
Motion that should be looked into, possibly lowering the speed limit.
I make a motion to that effect.
I'll second.
Were they from a mile from the intersection of 16 and 14?
Up
Yeah.
this hill, yeah.
To 30 miles an hour.
What?
Going this way, you're talking.
Going out of
Yes.
Going
town,
on,
yes.
going south on
Right.
16.
14 of 16 a mile.
The 1 mile is Joe Penny's old farm.
Okay.
Jody's house or
With the old farmhouse.
the Ron Omar?
You know what, I don't know if the county would do this in the meantime, but I see more and more signs that they'll put a radar unit within the thing that says your speed is,
Yeah, oh,
slow
that's-
down. You know, that would be interesting to
That'd be-
see something like
Especially if
that.
they log them.
What's that?
Especially if they log them, that would be very good to see.
Yeah, well, it gets your attention.
It does, it does.
you know.
They do move that box around, they have that portable
Yeah.
radar thing that they
So
move around.
It may help an intro.
Several times. That's been out
They
there.
seem very willing to do something that Tom Miller said, if your community writes a letter and asks for the speed limit to be changed, it will be changed. And I'm just saying,
That's not true.
I'm just telling you what he told me.
Yeah, I will argue that because I've dealt with Tom and he's telling you very wrong.
Okay, he may, I'm just saying what he said, I'm
I
not
will
saying
be
it's
very
fact.
honest with you, all the ones that we've tried to get, like the Otsego Road slowed down and some of those, we've done surveys. Like I said, the only 2 that have ever gone in the town of Franklin is from the intersection here down Case Hill, it's a 30 mile, and then the extension they did about 5 years ago out here, the 30 mile in Arizona through here by the Clayton Burger. Those are the only 2 because population, houses, and traffic counts all come into place. They usually will reject them.
Okay, I wasn't arguing with you, I just meant that this is what he told me today on the
Well, the
phone.
best thing we can do is send a letter to the county
Yeah.
and get it started, and we'll see what they come up with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
You're welcome.
you made a motion, you second, okay.
All in favor of the motion, a resolution to send a letter to the county to see if we could have the speed limit dropped to 30 miles an hour from the old Ron Penny farm?
1 mile.
1
Mile
mile
from
the
this
intersection.
intersection, correct?
Intersection of County 14
Yeah,
and 16.
16, okay, yeah, that's good, yeah.
Okay. All in favor? Carried.
Could I ask a question that has nothing to do with this issue, but, I have no problem with people hunting, that's what they like to do, it's fine. But our monastery grounds, people come on without asking, they're posted signs, and they come and hunt. And this last spring, one of the young monks was walking, and a guy came right on the road with a rifle and said to him, "I could have shot you. You shouldn't be here." He said, "This is the monastery property." He said, "Well, you shouldn't be here. You can get killed." That's just unreasonable, that on your
No,
own.
you know, it's your private property.
Right, and it's
You have
posted
the
and
right.
everything. And we have no problem with somebody who come and ask and say, "Can we go on your property?" We don't have any, but you can't tell somebody they can't walk on their property and you're gonna get shot. That's just absolutely insane. And I didn't call police or cause a commotion because I care about the community, but, that's just, I don't know who this person was, but he knew his way around. And, you know, it's just not right that people do that, so.
Oh, I agree 100%, you know.
Maybe he was worried that he didn't see the person in time, or, you know.
Could be, but, you know, he told him, "You shouldn't be here." He says, "We live here, this is our property." He said, "It doesn't matter, you shouldn't be, it's hunting season."
Maybe wear some bright colors when you go out. I think maybe this person could have, you know, he could have mistaken maybe a person, you know, for an animal, and maybe he was upset himself. I mean, I'm just trying to,
Well, could be.
not that I'm justifying it at all, but I think, you know, we have hunters too, and I don't go to the woods during hunting season unless I'm really brightly colored. And then, I'm not even saying.
I'll have to come borrow something from your house because we own nothing but black. So it's gonna be quite complicated.
You know, the bright orange vest or an orange hat or something.
But, you know, I don't see where your outfit, your dress is camouflage at all, so I
No.
can't, you know,
It isn't
mean, if-
camera,
if-
but-
No.
no, it isn't, but I'm just saying, you know, it's hard to miss your dress.
It is.
Your outfit, you know, to say, you know, but this is, and I hate, you know, this is where we're going,
Yeah, I know.
and that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
But your property right is your own, there's no
Yeah.
doubt, and, you know, it's very unfortunate that there are some people out there that feel
Don't care.
open land is my land,
Yeah.
whether it's,
Maybe you're gonna-
whether,
Post
you know, what, your land is my land and my land is my land. Something like that, whatever. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a concern, and it's, the worst part is it's
Not a lot can be
getting
done.
probably worse.
Yeah.
It's time better. Yeah. Okay? Okay, and, I think at this time, we're gonna bring back up the old issue of last month's opt-out law.